This is the screenshot.
That's my cry.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This will get 10 million likes.
Guys.
She sucked herself off on camera.
What a godless whore.
All right, y'all. Welcome to Meme Daddies podcast with our first ever guest.
This is a big show.
Rachel Feinstein.
Woo!
Yeah, welcome to the Meme Daddies podcast studio. She's smoking a cigar, being real liberal with the word smoking.
So this is you're not a typical cigar smoker.
She's doing something with it. We don't know what she's doing.
I think she's doing fine.
I've not smoked a cigar. And
Wait, where's your microphone?
Oh, sorry.
She's all kinds of discombobulated.
Wait,
I've
let me
never
start again.
smoked a cigar.
I got distracted. Listen, I haven't smoked a cigar, and
Wait,
I'm
hold
learning.
on. Now you're yelling.
Okay, now I'm lashing out. I apologize.
Move the microphone.
Don't make George angry because you know how he gets.
How to smoke a cigar. George has scolded me several times already today.
She's been here for 5 minutes.
He walked out when I came in with pastries, which I think is a fun-loving way to arrive. But you really let me know with your eyes that I was in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you handed her tools. You said something about you were very
Okay,
confusing.
so he comes out with like wiring and something. He's holding some wires. It's very alarming, right?
Yeah.
He looks at me like this.
It's unsettling.
Just kind of like,
All right,
you know,
so listen.
and then
Listen, before we even get into the podcast, I need to know what is wrong with me.
We only have an hour on the card. How long is the card?
you
start.
sort of have like a scolding energy. Like you look at somebody like they're in trouble. And I also am one of those people, as you just called me, neurotic, that I always apologize. So like I could be in a restaurant and the waiter serves me and I'm like, oh, could I just have this? I'm sorry. And they're like, that's my literal role in this equation is to bring you some food. So it's just not, it's as a cocktail, what happens is you come out holding wiring, looking, I'm sorry, a little alarming, and then tell me this is your equipment for today. I didn't know it was the microphone. Nobody said that. All I see is a bunch of wires.
Right, like do it yourself. Here.
Yeah.
Hand you a whole. Yeah.
Equipment.
No, because I have this girl I started working with recently, this agent, told me, confided in me about maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks after we started working together. She goes, you're fucking scary. And I don't want to be scary at all for any reason to anybody.
Sure you don't. You love it.
Bro, no.
He loves it.
So listen, for the podcast specifically, because in some of the comments, I look at the comments when I post a video, people think that I'm being rude or mean or something. Like, I'm not rude or mean. I want to be scary to people who are potentially thinking about attacking me and my family when we're out in public. Yes, of course, I want to be scary to those people. But, like, listeners and potential friends,
Not guests.
someone who's about to
you
be on the
didn't-
podcast, I don't want to be scary.
So George, this was an unintentional. You didn't mean to throw all the equipment at her and scold her so many times.
So here's a for instance, and we'll move along, I guess, because I don't want to belabor this point, but it does trouble me that I'm scary. Like when I first started shaving my head, I walked into the restaurant that I was working at, and my friend Ian goes, I walk in, and he goes to me, whoa, bro, relax. That was the first thing he said to me when I walked in. I started shaving my head.
That's it. Yeah, you look a little jacked up. Like you look like you had like
Oh, you
maybe,
mean-
like 4 monsters, like and a few lines, but then you tried to do some affirmations and settle down. You look like a guy that just learned how to be calm, but it hasn't really settled in. The lessons haven't settled in yet. So you're just like everything's everything's good.
I'm good. One
How
day
you
at a
doing?
time, 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
Just
so-
trying to hang on, not snap, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. You look like you just graduated from anger management, so you're coming from the right place. Like you just got your little
Just
golden
passed.
anger management certificate. So your heart's in the right spot, but it's any minute you're gonna pop.
But the instructor said I could come back anytime for a
Yeah.
refresher.
Oh,
He
you're
pulled
still
you
wearing
aside.
an ankle bracelet. Yeah, you're not fully out yet, but you're just like allowed to
Holy
roam around.
shit, that's
Because
a-
the way you come out of your garage, you just kind of like, and then when somebody asks a question, like a normal question, just like, oh wait, so are we going to talk about cigars on the podcast or what's the subject? You'll see. All right?
No.
It's going to be handled. I got questions here. You didn't think I had questions? You bitch. Like that. You didn't say that. But the subtext is, all right, settle down. And you are strong looking, dude, it's a little scary and I feel like I'm in trouble.
So let me ask you a question. So let's break it down physiologically. Is it the size of my body? Is it my head? Is it my face? Is it my voice? Is it my tone? And how can I address it? Because I really don't want to come across like an asshole. Because I'm not. I don't want to.
This is your fantasy, talking about all the elements of you. Like everything. He's like, tell me about everything about me. Is it my head, my personality, my body, my mannerisms? Like, talk.
That was the
let's
funniest
talk more
when you were
about me.
trashing him about getting recognized. Is it that I get recognized everywhere? Is that hard for you?
No, listen.
Is it how talented or successful you are?
Right. What else about me can we talk about?
Let's move on from it, but I need to just think about it then. Think about me for the rest of the podcast.
Okay.
How famous you are, that must be what it is. Or maybe how big your house is. Oh, is it hard to be jacked?
George, wake up. The
really
podcast.
hard?
This is George's dream. George, the podcast is coming.
Was it because
Oh, you probably got too much ass in high school. That's what it was. It was a surplus of ass.
was it because my driveway
too
was
cool.
my driveway was so long you couldn't tell who it was at the end of it, or
Yeah.
it doesn't care. It's not funny when I do it.
It's
funny
hard.
when
Is
you
it
do
hard having so much money?
Jeez.
Sorry. But no, you just have like a tone which is interesting.
Tone. It's the no yes Adam energy.
That's what I was going to say. You keyed it on it immediately.
Yeah.
He's very decisive, even if he changes his opinion, by the way, 10 seconds later. But he's very decisive in the moment. If you ask him, hey, do you want a scone? No.
Yes.
Doesn't think about it. Hey,
Like you just exactly another like
No.
you are also fresh from a workshop where they told you about how to have boundaries, and so you're like, no. Like if somebody's like, do you want some water? No. They're like, somebody just told you it's okay to say no, but then you look like that, and it might not be okay.
All right. Well, I'll just tell you one quick story because this wraps things up nicely. When I was going to therapy all the time, right? I haven't been in a while because I'm perfect now.
You're cured.
Yeah, and when I came back from California, I was doing all kinds of like physically. Do you want to grab her the dustbuster for her leg?
No. Oh no.
Dust it off. It's okay. No, don't panic.
Yeah, don't.
It's just
But I don't want to put it on my hand.
No. Don't panic.
Yeah.
You guys, sorry, I'm rancid. I've dropped cigar over my. And by the way, anybody that's watching knows that I'm pretending to smoke cigar, and that I'm aware that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Fine. I would just push it off.
Thank you so much. I've always wanted to do this with you. I've always wanted you to dust bust me since.
You do the middle part. That's inappropriate. This is the screenshot.
Dust bust my crotch.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This will get 10 million likes.
Guys.
She sucked herself off on
Wow.
What a godless whore.
Yeah,
All right.
Just put it down right there.
God damn it. He would have left that on my lap, by the way.
No, I didn't. I just told you that.
Oh, sorry, you did.
I was the one who called it out to you. See, I'm a nice person.
That's the one pitfall with the cigar. As you smoke it, the ash then becomes a thing to deal with. That's the thing.
So wait,
So-
you're talking about therapy.
So I was going to therapy. I came back from California, and I'm telling him about all these things that I'm doing to try and take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. He goes, the physical stuff is a little alarming. It sounds to me like you've maybe developed a little bit of a narcissistic streak. Just watch that, So I come back,
Isn't it like how much you're working out and stuff?
just how much I'm thinking about my physical appearance, right? So I come back 2 weeks later. I sit down. Immediately I go, so I've been thinking about what you said about my narcissistic streak. And he takes 3 seconds, puts his pen and pad down, looks at me and goes, no shit. Like it was 2 weeks of me just thinking about myself, and I couldn't wait to get back on the couch and fucking talk about it.
Talk about why you keep thinking about yourself. It's like double thinking about yourself.
You know the assignment you gave me to think about myself for 2 weeks about my narcissistic streak? Well, I got 100 on that assignment.
How about the part where you made a podcast about that conversation about thinking about yourself?
He'd be so proud of me. I've grown so much. Dr. G. Shout out to Dr. G, the best therapist ever. I've sent so many people.
His name can't be. Is it just G?
Dr. G-E-E is his last name. Dr. Matthew G. He's fantastic.
'Cause G sounds like you met him at an arcade or something.
I know.
GED, you said? He has a GED?
He's I just met him, yeah. in an arcade.
I had a therapist that would fall asleep a lot on me and had like a wayward eye. So he had like just kind of one unruly eye.
Forrest
And then would
Whitaker?
blame it on the eye. It's like, it's not your rogue eye. You're
Yeah.
fat. The other eye is very much shut as well, but would nod off continually, just like, oh, and they'd be like, the eye. It's uncomfortable for me to talk about. But I'm like, don't you blame it on your one rancid eye. It's not that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to the Meme Daddies podcast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Don't
thank
forget
you.
to rate, review, subscribe, Apple, iTunes,
Share.
YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, fucking leave a comment. I've been
Yes.
responding to every comment. Adam has not been
I haven't
doing
been.
any of that. I've been
I
doing
will be.
it all. He won't be doing
I
it.
will be.
I've been doing it. So
Get
although I'm
involved in the comment journey.
You're right.
although I am an
Come on.
asshole, I am very responsive on the YouTube. And I do. If I could respond to iTunes reviews, I'd do that too, but I can't. So I see you out there, and I love you. And we got our first guest here today, Rachel Feinstein.
Yeah.
Let's hit that laugh track or audio clap track.
They're very funny.
Let's make it clap.
I read all my comments too,
I'm gonna respark.
and I'm very good about responding.
What? You want
And
a
there's
you want a
some-
lighter?
No.
Yeah, no,
respark-
please.
yeah.
You could respark me. There's
Oh,
some guy named Mr. Twat Waffles that hates me, and I read every
Mr.
comment.
Twat Waffles? Fuck
Yeah.
that guy. He sounds like he sucks.
He's probably like
But
a
I read all of
respected.
them, too.
He's probably like a respected attorney,
So okay. So
right? He's like a
True.
family. He like
Yes.
specializes in family law. Like,
So-
hold on, honey. Let me just let me go on my Instagram really quick.
Lutheran minister.
you got
Rachel,
Rachel.
Mr. Twat Waffles.
You got to puff on it when he lights it. Otherwise, it's not going to light. You got to go like this.
This is the podcast is really just men explaining things to a pointless woman.
This is our dream.
Learn.
Look. You got it.
You got it.
You got it. You're lighting it up. It's
By the end of this
it's-
podcast,
it's
she's
getting
a
red.
pro.
Yeah, I got the swagger right. Like,
Is it lit?
Take a hit and just go like that.
Yeah, you could do that if you want.
Gangsta. Listen, see.
I don't know why you'd want to do that, but all right. So a couple things. I want to start north and then work our way down. Okay, so we're going to Canada.
Oh, I thought you meant North Kardashian West.
No,
Okay.
we can. Maybe I don't know, but we'll
Who
start.
knows?
We'll start legitimately, physically north in Canada, where maybe we'll do a segment on the podcast called Outrage Porn, where we talk about. There's this video that I saw that made my stomach hurt. Right, and we're gonna make it funny because that's what Meme Daddies is. We take serious topics and we make them funny. We look through the prism of humor,
Right.
and we start with a serious topic. By the time it gets through all the little facets and whatever, it's funny. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So there was a guy on a ski lift who maybe Jarrett can, I don't know, work his magic and make the video go in there. It's on the screen right now. Okay, great. Right over Rachel's head.
Thank you
So-
for everything you do, by the way, Jared. Thank you for your
Thank
service.
you for your selfless commitment to the Meme Daddies podcast, Jared.
Yeah. So it starts late, obviously, as all videos do. There was some context that led to somebody pulling out their video, their phone, and recording. But this two security guards are up on him, and this video starts with him saying, "I'm exempt," right? I'm assuming he's exempt from wearing a mask, right? So they're on this mountain in Canada. There's two children and two other people waiting for the lift. Very big lift. I'm assuming it's a big mountain in Canada. Very busy. They got big ass lifts that could fit fucking 60.
Big lift, huge lift.
Big lifts, huge asses.
Some of the biggest
A lot of
lifts.
fucking people. Not even a gondola yet, but right before a gondola.
Okay.
right? So they start wrestling with this guy to get him off the fucking thing. So I'm assuming he was waiting there for a long time. They called security. Everyone's waiting. Bro, they start wrestling with this guy, and right away you can tell the security guards are out of line. Like, you don't fucking wrestle a guy over a mask.
Yeah.
So then everyone starts cheering for this guy getting wrestled to the ground. Then the people who are recording start going, "This is awesome. Fucking free entertainment. Wow, I can't." In a Canadian accent. I'm doing a New York accent. I
This
don't
is
know why.
Canada or near Canada in the United States?
Canada.
Canadians talk like that?
I got a point. I'm
Okay.
going to get to it, I promise.
I
Okay?
figure Canada doesn't eat that. you know.
Hey, I got it. I'm with you.
All right,
So, Canada.
Don't step on it.
No, it's okay, you fucking heckler. So, did I just do the asshole thing again?
No, that was a cute one.
Okay,
You're being
good.
playful. That's
Good.
fine.
Okay.
That's not.
Second look. That's when you look like the
Yeah, that's
UFC coach that's like about to like pummel you.
Like
did that
Dana White just snorted
Suddenly,
6
when I
rails.
arrived here, I'm like, sign up to take jujitsu with the cokehead.
I did that on purpose. So, now she's going towards Adam. She's out of here.
Not even like intentionally. It's just kind of, yeah.
So they're cheering and clapping and boo this man. And the people recording are going, "This is so great. We have front row seats to this entertainment. This is awesome." And I'm thinking, like, your guys are fucked up. Yes, the guy's annoying for not wearing a mask, but then it ends kind of, and the female security guard is scolding the male security guard like, you can't fucking touch him. She doesn't say fucking, but she's like, you can't put your hands on this guy.
Yeah.
She was trying to wrestle the guy away from the other guy. It looks like they're both wrestling him in the beginning, but then she's like, you can't touch him. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, by the way, of course, she's the voice of reason.
Of course.
Which is what our podcast is going to be called, The Voice of Reason.
The Voice
and
of
then it's
Reason.
going to be just you going rogue, putting your finger in people's faces and me being like,
I just need to be
Chill
taken down a
out.
couple of notches. Adam just
do the
beats,
math
Adam
expression.
beats me down. You're gonna just start a podcast, just fucking beat me down. I just need to be beaten down constantly, right? So
Question about these people. They're
Yes.
skiers?
snowboarders, skiers.
Snowboarders? So they're all wearing skis and snowboard stuff
Yes,
like
he's
that?
getting wrestled around with the snowboard attached
Ay,
to his
ay,
thing.
ay.
It's a disaster, bro.
They're lucky they didn't fall down the fucking hill.
Well, they're on the bottom of the hill,
Oh, they were just getting on it.
just
Okay.
getting on, right? So my point is that Canada. Clip this, Jared. My point is that Canada's like the super nice person that was so nice for so long, and they have just fucking snapped. They're like Michael Douglas in Falling Down.
hilarious.
Like they were so sweet and so kind for so long, and they were just like, I can't fucking take it anymore. I'm losing my mind.
Fucking maple syrup, hockey. I get it.
No problem, eh? No,
Hey,
you
hey.
go after me, eh? And then fucking one day they're like, they fucking start shooting
right.
everybody.
And they didn't care for the insults all along. They didn't care for the,
Oh, you guys are so nice. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I'll go in front of you. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no problem. Eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
And
took
then-
it all quietly. They're that your friend that you could say those condescending things to, and then one day they fucking snapped.
They were
They're right. They're like, don't worry about it. He doesn't care.
Harrison's America Light.
They were crying themselves to sleep at night, and now they've snapped. Did you see the video of the cops with the red zone and then throwing the people out of the red zone in Canada?
Well, I know all about that whole. I mean, it was
The
a big,
trucker
big
situation?
deal with the truckers. Big
Bro,
deal with the truckers
listen,
and the masks.
I understand the truckers not wanting
The
to
vaccines?
get they are in a truck 10 hours a day by themselves. You don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. But the Canadian government, it just seems like I said, like they've just been so sweet and so kind and so unassuming for so long. Everything built up, and now they're exploding. They've lost it.
And I've toured there a lot, and it's definitely like, I mean, it's just like here where it's like there's parts of it where it like, I mean, yeah, like I was definitely like.
I'm sure they got plenty of northern redneck type
Oh,
situations up
They
there.
must have also the expatriates that go live there, right? I mean, they must have a
Yes,
lot of.
they've got a lot of expats, a lot of people that are just like I did.
Wow,
a club
I just
there.
realized what expatriate means.
Yeah,
Expat, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm
Sorry.
trying to decide if I should tell this story because it might be too inappropriate, but yeah.
Inappropriate how?
I'm just looking at you like because you seem to be the authority on like editing everything. Although I do like that he just told you to do something. He was like, "Clip it," and you just kind of sat there and
He's
like.
not going to clip it.
Did
That'll be in the podcast.
No, I meant
Clip
this-
it, Jared.
No, I meant this is going to be a.
That's his catchphrase.
Oh, that's what that meant. Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm learning your language. Yeah.
I've never said that before.
No, I like how you instruct it, and then he's like, "Got it." Like there's a silent
I didn't
language
understand,
there.
but he said it's so scary. I just said, yep.
Yes.
Like whatever he says, I'm gonna do. Like
Yes.
he's like, "Let's go to a caller." I'm like, "Not a problem." Well,
No phones, but yes.
whatever he says, I'm just gonna try to make happen. We've got Tammy from Detroit, and she's a big fan.
And I'm Tammy.
How's Detroit compared to? Have you toured in Detroit also? Have you
Yes,
performed?
everywhere. Like I've hurled my body to every weird part of the world.
Is Canada one of the stranger? Like, because you're kind of
It
crossing
depends
the
on
border.
where you are, you know.
Yeah.
But I played a club in Detroit. I think it's called Something's Comedy Castle, like the Gremlins comedy. They all have the most like ludicrous names, but
Gremlins comedy.
yes. And then every tour with women always has the most humiliating names too. It's always like the Cackling Twats, or just like all the women tours are like, you know, Pumps and Punchlines, you know. And I'm not making that up at
Oh
all.
man, who comes up with that?
I know. It can't just be like a few women on a comedy show. It has to just be like, you know, 4 holes and 3 heels, and 3 sets of heels. Thank you very much. I feel like we're making up.
It's okay.
But
He's
yeah, but all the
vaccinated.
places I probably had the most fun in Korea. I did a military tour there, and it was the best.
Whoa.
But I've had some weird, dark moments there on stage. I've had a soft taco thrown at my tit. Just things happen.
Well, that's a Korean. That's a gesture. That's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's very.
We love you.
Yeah, I've had people throw notes at me, like angry notes. Like someone took a time to just draft. That's how much he hated me.
Wow.
He needed to sit there focusing on how much he hated my essence and throw a note.
How were the notes? Was it like constructive?
He told me to go back to the kitchen, which he put it in a bottle like he was going to throw it out at sea.
Was this a pirate?
Also, like at the time, I didn't. Now I'm pretty into cooking, but at the time, I really didn't cook. So, like, I mean, if he'd seen me in the kitchen, I don't think he would have instructed me to return there.
Did you write that note back? Listen.
See, I keep looking back at you, like feeling like I'm in trouble because I'm not within the framework of things. So please, at any moment,
waiting for you to start talking about him. If there's if there's ever doubt, like if you're like, oh, what should we? Just say,
okay.
George, wow, that shirt looks great on you, and that's it. He'll perk right up.
Yeah. No, that's true.
When I first met you at the Cellar, Comedy Cellar.
Is that where we met?
Yes, you were there years
I
ago.
was there with Adam.
Oh, you guys were there together.
Was I with you?
Yeah.
And Sam
And,
Morril.
and David Tell said we looked like cops.
Oh, right. It was that night.
Oh yeah, you both definitely.
You
were.
boys on the job? He said
Yeah.
when he saw us in the hall. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you definitely look like cops. And
That's the day that I want to shake her hand. I want to shake your hand to the girl protesting Louis C.K. outside.
what happened?
We told the story on the other podcast. He wanted to right all the wrongs of toxic masculinity by yelling at a small blue-haired girl that was
No.
holding a sign. He's
Me,
like-
the guy
he
who
went up to her
you
like,
thought you were in
listen,
trouble
everything's
with."
okay. Everything's all right. I'm on your side. I'm on your side. And she was like shrinking away. Get away from me. I said, George.
I want to shake your hand. I want to shake your hand.
But you want to connect and you want to make sure everybody's okay.
Yes,
It is
yes.
a lovely
I
quality.
wanted
It's from
to
a good
s-
place.
I was like, hey, I listen. I understand you're upset. I just wanted to find out like if there's anything I can do personally to make you more comfortable. Obviously, you're upset. She's like, you're making me very uncomfortable. I was like, but why? I want to help. She's like, Adam's like, bro, just get away. Like you're the poster boy
physical-
for everything she fucking hates.
In his mind, he's being the sweetheart.
Yeah.
In his mind. Physically, it was an imposing man
You ever
walking
seen-
up to a small woman.
Yeah.
And looked like he was walking her into a
You
corner.
ever seen the video of the guy on the plane? I want to shake his hand.
I just want to shake his hand. I want to
Yes,
shake
the
your
man.
hand.
Just want to have a moment with you. And that's where they give you a free hit. That way, there's no scarier moment to me than a moment like where two men that don't know each other meet.
Oh.
Like if all you deal with as a woman, all the like whatever inequality bullshit, I'll take anything over that moment where two men that don't know each other give each other that free hit they give each other. Like,
Yeah.
like everything's good.
Sizing
To
them
meet
up.
you. Yeah, that first moment and that sizzling tension between two men that don't know each other yet that are pretending to be warm is terrifying.
It's terrifying.
That was one of my favorite parts of.
Like it must be so exhausting to be a man in that moment. Just like,
You know what? You start to realize as you get older that there really is no physical threat. When you're younger, your adrenaline's going all the time. I used to
My brother
think
told me that like when he walks around the street, he's always imagining. I'm curious if this is with you guys too. Different like scenarios where he's being attacked.
How
and, like,
old is he?
What he would grab and throw. This nebbishy Jewish guy in Bethesda is like I'm like walking around a cul-de-sac. He's like I would grab that dog right there, throw it in that person's face, like hammer.
how old is he?
He's maybe 40. He's 40.
Oh yeah, that's so. Here's one thing that I have kept to myself for the majority of my life, but I'll discuss it with you because you're a woman and I want to get your take on this.
Mhm.
So I remember we're so far gone from the Canadian thing, by the way, but it's okay.
Are we though? Because it's all sort of a
Yeah, time is a flat circle.
continuum.
So I remember seeing Tupac Resurrection when I was like 24, maybe 25. I don't remember the context of what he said or why he said it, but I do remember him saying, "You think because I'm black and I live in the projects, I'm not scared of a gun?" And I was like, fuck yeah. Again, I don't remember the context of it or what it was, but I remember him saying, "You think because I'm black and I live in the projects, I'm not scared of a gun?" And I remember thinking, fuck yeah, I kind of did think that. I thought because you grew up in that environment, you would just like walk
Right.
to school and not be scared. And the point is that like they are terrified of it. These people live in this environment. They have to walk past these drug dealers every day. And then I thought,
Yeah.
Maybe they think because I'm white, I don't have financial fear, or I'm not like, because women think that because I'm a man, I'm not scared of being attacked, or whatever. Go on and on and on.
You're not scared of being attacked by the cops as much.
Because I'm white,
Yeah.
of
Well,
course.
And you look like
But-
you're about to you look like you're on a SWAT team or something.
However,
Right.
Yeah.
Or on a bender that he's going to go kill 20 people.
so women walk around in much more fear
yes.
of being attacked. However, I do remember up until I was maybe 25 or so, I was in constant fear of physical conflict. Constant. Everywhere I looked, every person I saw, I was like, this person's got a problem. I'm going to have to fucking fight them. Every single person, every single place I went.
I don't think that's what Rachel's talking about. I think like that
There's
inclination.
There's a sexual component
Yeah,
also.
like protection. And it's like, what would I do? I'd pick this thing up. I'd Jackie Chan this fucking light. and I'd hit this
sexual
guy.
component, like you might suddenly have to give somebody an impromptu hand job or something. I don't
No,
understand.
when women
This is
walk
what I'd do. I'd spit in my
I'd have to
hand.
give him a handy.
No, when
Fill
women
her
walk
up.
around, there's fear of rape also. It's not just a fight.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a really dumb way to interpret that.
No, when women when I'm let's say it's late at night, it's 2:00 in the morning, and I'm walking down the street, and I know there's somebody walking behind me.
You think you're going to be raped?
No, I don't. That's the whole point.
Oh,
but I'm
good.
definitely scared. I'm definitely.
No, it was a
thinking, what the
profoundly stupid way for me to interpret that statement. I thought he was,
Was
gonna be
it?
afraid of a sudden threesome or something.
That was a.
Oh, what if
Be
the
ready
person
for a
behind me is
threesome
really
at any
sexually
minute.
attractive?
That
He's
was
a
a-
male, and it makes me question myself.
That was
Suddenly
that
a
was
surplus of pussy was just going to be thrown at you, and you'd have to juggle it all.
that was a comment section interpretation. That was like a 2D. What? So,
Are you saying people should attack other people? No, I'm not saying that.
are you saying you want to rape yourself? Yeah. Basically.
Mr. Twat Waffles is going to have a field day.
Yeah. So, okay. I got so many I have a lot of topics.
Go. So how about one? What's a good one?
The guy on the ski lift is over, obviously. So, just really quick to wrap it up. He's wrong for not wearing the mask. The fucking rules on the mountains in Canada are that you don't have to wear a mask anywhere on the mountain except for on the line for the ski lift.
Right.
And they were cheering at this guy for getting thrown off the ski lift. You don't have to ski with a mask. You don't have to snowboard with a mask. You don't have to wear it anywhere else except for in the line.
It's just common courtesy, honestly.
You think so?
No, I'm saying that to wear it, it's just show common courtesy. It's not about like government mandate. It's like if that's the rule on this mountain,
Yeah.
fucking do it. If everybody said take your hat off at this certain place, take your hat off. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it as
I
common.
also feel like some people, I feel like in that scenario, some people walk into that day wanting to be angry. And if you get in their way, then some people grow. And it's the same with whether you're protesting, whatever you're protesting. People want to be angry. Like you can't get. That's like the thing with that woman. Like you can't get between somebody and their sign. You know what I mean? Like they got up
Right.
it's
That's
just
a
like a
great
drunk girl
point.
at a show or a drunk guy. Like sometimes I'll be in the middle of my show and somebody gets up outraged about like something I said, and it has so little to do with that. But they're at that point in their drunken alcoholic journey that they need to get furious about some things that happen.
You're just
you know?
there.
I'm just there, yeah. Which has helped me to realize to not personalize it so
Right.
much. Because I was on stage and this girl just got up weeping. And I'm like, oh, this is just the drunken turn in her night where she starts to weep and her friends comfort her. It has nothing to do with
But
my
it's not
act.
your joke. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
my joke. Yeah. She's just at around 11, she's like, she gets really wounded and needs to kind of rock.
It happens at 11 o'clock every night.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the same with those people on
The next night, you're like, can I go on at 10:30?
Yeah.
I mean, if it happens every night at that moment in your set, that's different.
Yeah.
If every
But you know what I mean? There's always somebody. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Having a
It
breakdown.
definitely probably also is me. By the way, in the middle of everything I say or in the background of your mind, if you're watching this, know that I have no formal education and often don't know what I'm referring to.
That's great. You have no formal education whatsoever?
No, I moved to New York when I was 17 with this guy in his band called
What?
Dick Sister.
Dick Sister?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great name.
Twat Waffle and Dick Sister.
I wonder if they know
Everybody
each
else
other.
in my family went to
Where did you move here
graduate
from?
School and my Bethesda.
Bethesda, Maryland?
Yeah.
I went to school at University of Maryland.
Oh yeah, my dad taught there for a little while. My dad was a
I got expelled for doing drugs.
Prosecutor.
I wonder if he had anything to do with it.
really.
What's his name?
Howard Feinstein.
Howard
Everybody, I'm not trying
Feinstein?
to turn you ladies on and home, but Howie Feinstein, sexiest name alive.
That is
Howie
kinda
Feinstein.
Howie
He looks
Damn.
just like Ben Stein. That's why I married a fireman. I went so the other direction. Like, you know, my husband, like, I like people that could fix things. My dad has like a never-ending sinus infection. You know what I mean?
What's your husband's name?
Pete.
Pete what? Oh,
Brennan.
Pete,
Brennan.
Wow, he's the opposite of Howie Feinstein.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
Howie Feinstein.
Petey!
Yeah.
And then when
Petey Brennan.
when my dad like met him for the first time, he my mom had like there was like a squirrel in our backyard and there was some sort of issue with the squirrel need to be disposed of, but Howie didn't want to really bother with it too much. He was sort of like laying down.
Wait,
with
who
a
didn't?
sinus
Howie?
infection. Howie, my dad.
Didn't he just wanted to leave it?
No, he wanted my mom to
He
take
didn't want to
care
deal
of
with
it.
it. He didn't want to
first.
personally deal with
Okay.
it.
Yeah, he didn't want to personally deal with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Get this done. Get this out of here.
So then he's like, "Oh, my daughter's dating a fireman." And like Jewish men, like I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for all Jew, but like my dad was not like the protective type of dad. Like that's why I think those shirts are so funny. Like, you know, you want to date my daughter first, you date my gut. My dad would just be like, "Oh, all right, fine. Just make sure that, you know, I've got PBS on at 6, so don't interrupt that program." Like he's not aware that I'm a woman in that way. You know what I mean? He's not that protective dad.
Yeah.
So Pete comes over, meets it for the first. He's not thinking about like this is the man that's dating my daughter. He was like, "Can I slip you a 20 to remove the squirrel in the backyard?" First of all, who says slip you a 20? Who announces?
Just slip him
They
the
either
20.
slip them or don't. By the way, 20 never came. But he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I slip you a 20 and you can get rid of the squirrel in the backyard?"
He works
Because
for
he
the
was
department.
resting from his sinus infection.
So he never had to spend the 20 at all?
No, and my husband, I was like, "Did he even do a fake reach?" He was like, "No, there was no mention of that."
He didn't
20
dig
again."
at all?
No, not even.
Howard's sly like a fox, though. He got it done, and he saved 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Interesting.
my husband went out there with my mom, and they like got rid of the squirrel together. And my dad just like rested with some nose tape on his nose or something.
Yeah, he can't be dealing with dead squirrels with a sinus infection. You never know how that's going to exacerbate things. Little continuity problem. Rachel started eating a donut, and the cigar that I got for her when we started doing the podcast and held on to her in a bag with the perfect moisture ratio and humidity, she's abandoned. And she should have just told me she wanted to do a donut podcast when I asked her to do it, however long
Are you
ago.
smoking donuts here?
Smoking donuts? What is that
By the
from?
way-
It's from something that we had filmed with.
What? Wait,
Frank.
you just said that like it was a porn. I wasn't supposed to. Like something
no,
we
I
had
just couldn't-
earlier
no.
done for a
No.
certain service on our untraceable IP address.
On 4chan,
No, what are you smoking? That's from the
yeah, there was literally it was unfair to even bring up Rachel because you don't know the backstory. And I thought it might slide by until you stopped and stared at me and made a thing of it.
Sorry,
I just
No,
couldn't
no, no.
remember. I thought it was
We
from
wrote
something like
we wrote
Super
a-
Troopers or
I
something.
apologize.
We
Bob.
wrote a gag in this thing we were filming where somebody comes up to him and he's smoking a vape, one of those vapes that smells like vanilla cake. And the person opens the window and goes, "What, are you fucking smoking donuts in here?" Because it smells like it smells like donuts. and the fact that you have a donut and we're smoking,
smoking.
it just happened to like
Yeah.
align with that line. And he just goes, "What was that even from?" And it was from like this little skit we filmed fucking 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Oh my God.
sorry,
By the way-
it was a boring story, but that's what just so you understand. What
Sometimes you get boring stories.
Yeah,
All right.
sorry,
so
sorry.
listen. So last week we talked about corporations and their surveys and how they're dumb. They're so dumb. So New York State Department of Health has been ringing me off the hook. Have you been getting calls from the New York State Department of Health?
Yes.
Okay. Have you?
I ignore most calls.
Okay, so because we had that conversation, was like, you know what, bro? New York State Department of Health is trying to figure out what's going on with its citizens. Let me do my part, okay? Let me take a couple of minutes out of my day and just answer some questions. Where do I live? How many people are in my family? Are we in good health? Are we practicing sanitization practices in the house and whatever? So I pick up the call. And she's like, "Hi, this is so-and-so from the New York State Department of Health." I was like, I know. I'm like already frustrated 30 seconds into the call because like they just repeat shit a million times.
All right, I have nothing but time on my hands, lady. Let's keep to all day. Let's talk.
So she's like, "We're calling to get the state of, health with our residents in New York State." I'm like, I know. Can we get to the fucking questions here? Already, a minute in. So she's like, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I'm like, I figured.
Then you hung up.
No, so she starts asking me questions, and I'm answering, and I'm being cool, dude. I'm getting calls. He calls me. Jarrett calls me. And my friend Peter calls me. I'm getting calls. I'm ignoring them. Then she starts going like, you know, what was your sex at birth? I'm like, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. You know, my memory's a little fuzzy from then. No, I'm joking. Male. What was your, you know, what gender do you identify as? I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with COVID? Then she listed out 12 or 15 genders. So I should have just said male, cut her off, right?
I'd be interested. I want to hear the list.
15, that's a healthy amount.
It was a lot. So then she goes, what is your sexuality? So I say, instead of just getting into like all of them, I go straight, what is your, you know, marital status? Married. And then I go, listen, this is 15 minutes into it, by the way. I'm on the phone for 15 minutes with the New York State Department of Health doing what I thought was going to be, do any of you have COVID? Do any of you have a cough? Do any of you have a fever?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be, 3 to 5 minutes. I'm 15 minutes into this survey. I go, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but by the way, she did say at the beginning of the call, you do not have to take this survey. At any point, you can stop the survey. So 15 minutes in, I go, hey, about how much longer is this survey going to be? Because I got a bunch of calls that came in, and I'm running out of time. She pauses, and she goes, I don't know.
Oh, so this is a never-ending. This is just an open-ended
Like,
survey.
She's never gotten through one.
Is she winging it?
I don't know, bro. She's
Oh, but she's never done it. She has no script.
She has a script, but I am certain, has never gotten through a survey. I asked her how much
Never Nobody had ever been willing before.
and the amount of calls that I've gotten since then has been probably 3 times as many as before.
Oh, now you're on the green
The
list.
good list. Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy will talk to you. He's dumb
Fucking
as
idiot
fuck.
talk for 25 minutes to Rochelle. To Rochelle, no one talks to Rochelle for more than 15 seconds. Nah, she got 27 minutes out of
Like,
it.
I don't fuck if I know.
Fuck, he's on the premium list. He's on the fucking, that's the expensive list. That's the Pfizer list now.
No idea what to ask him. She's like, so what makes you tick?
Yeah, I got past the fever and the cough questions. I started asking him what his fucking gender was. I didn't even know what to say.
So you like rom-coms?
It was like the anti-suicide hotline. Like they're just keeping him on the phone. Just keep him on.
What kind of music do you work out to? I don't know. You drink Monsters? How many a day? You smoke cigars? What kind?
What's
you
your
know
favorite
Rachel
color?
Feinstein?
What's your favorite joke?
What kind of cigars does she smoke? How many donuts did she eat during the podcast?
All I know is, you were swinging at nothing in your garage listening to System of a Down,
Yeah.
lifting weights.
She saw me. She's like, "Do you
I
shadow
arrived
box?"
and you almost threw a barbell at me, but thank God I survived.
But he was looking in the mirror so much, you were able to sneak by him.
Yeah. I was talking to myself, thinking about myself, practicing my own signature in case somebody ever asked for it one day.
And then feign frustration as you're signing it. Like, oh, everybody's fucking always stopping me.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm wearing the hat this week.
But it is
All
true
right?
that everybody, just like you were saying, everybody goes through everybody has their own dialogue in their head. And and it's always just something from a long time ago that has nothing to do with the moment. So I always think I'm going to be in trouble. You're physically terrifying. And no, I'm just kidding. But you're a big guy and you look at me like, just, hey, watch it. Watch your mouth.
Yeah. Watch your
But-
step, watch your thoughts, because I can read them.
Right.
That was so convincing. No, but I was always told I was too much. So whenever I go home to visit my mom, she's always like, remember not to walk too loudly. You have a heavy step. Who says that? Doesn't that answer everything of why
Poor
I always
Rachel.
think I'm in trouble? Your brothers, God forbid, my brothers, there's never any complaint. They need a rest, and there's that hostile, jarring step you have. So be careful of your step.
You know what? Ryan Reynolds on the Smartless podcast did have a great point about anxiety. I guess his father was a little whatever. He goes, when your father or mother or parent is unpredictable, you spend your entire childhood trying to predict how they're going to act. And that's a great foundation for anxiety because you're constantly trying to predict the future. And
Do you have that?
oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm an anxious person in general. I have tempered it greatly with tons of work, but I just learned how to I was talking to my son last night. My son was upset. He was sad. Something happened. He got yelled at. The little fucker doesn't listen to anything. He's 9 years old. Of course he doesn't listen. But he was upset. And I said, GJ, emotions are like a wave. You just got to let them wash over you. You can't keep diving into the same wave over and over again, making yourself upset. You got yelled at. It happened. Don't keep remembering it over and over again. That's, you're going to make yourself upset. At this point, you're making yourself upset. So think about a good time that you had with mommy when she wasn't yelling at you. You've got plenty of those. If you're gonna dive into a wave, make it a fun one.
Right, or be here now. What can you do now? Let's.
Yeah, you're in bed now. I'm here with you. I'm talking to you. I love you. I'm hugging you. I'm talking to you through this. Let's, you don't have to punish yourself over and over again.
Man, what wisdom we have at our disposal now.
I'm just listening to this. I'm like, I've needed to hear these words my whole life. Yeah.
I mean, I've learned stuff over the past 5 years about life and myself and all that stuff we're talking about that now I could give to my kids. And my parents were good parents, but they had no idea. They would just shut down an emotion or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's how my parents were too. Yeah, they were loving, but they don't know how to express it.
They want to potentially, but
they'd slip you a 20 and send you out.
Yeah, or tell you they're slipping you a 20.
I never understood. I'll give you something to cry about. It's like I'm already crying. I don't know what more we could do.
Well, my Italian grandmother was terrifying with that.
Try this.
Oof.
What was she scary?
Oh yeah, she used to bite her own hand.
You're gonna have to light again.
She would yell at you, and she would go like this. That looks good.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I just saw a meme about the whole "I'll give you something to cry about."
Yeah.
And it's and I think that generation did. They gave us global warming. They gave us pollution. They gave.
Yeah, I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh yeah, it's so true. And the sound my dad would make, if the Giants lost, was it was chilling. It was like some weird, terrifying man cry. It was the same sound when he stubbed his toe, or if the Giants lost, that he was just haunted. The whole entire house was haunted. You had to get out fast. But living with that kind of thing for that generation.
Well,
and otherwise mild-mannered guy, right? Pretty much.
Yes, but doesn't really very always there for me, good dad, but can't express it. Doesn't say I love you. On my wedding day, he was rushing down the aisle. I'm like, that's not the vibe, Dad. I had to take his hand and place it where it would go on my back. It's just well, we gotta get there. It's sorry.
Got to make good time.
It's always about making good time with dads, right? It's he acted it like it was a road trip to Cooperstown, and we were going to be late for nothing.
Beat the traffic.
Yeah. He's okay, let's get it going.
Yeah, my parents didn't have. They just didn't know, and it's okay. They did the best with what they had. It's carpenters back in the day didn't have the tools they have now. They have better tools now. I've spent an entire life trying to figure out my own emotions, so I'm not going to not pass that on to my kids, and my kids will hopefully be better equipped to handle life than I was. My whole goal right now with my children is to make it so that when they discover alcohol and drugs, it doesn't feel like the key to life for them.
Right.
Because they will discover alcohol and drugs, and to make it so that they don't go, oh, this is how I'm going to get through life. So that their anxiety is not so crippling that when it does happen, because that was what it was for me. That is a uniquely alcoholic and drug addicted experience when I remember the first time I drank. I literally it was like stepping through the birth canal again.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is how I'm gonna live.
Oh, this is confidence and not worrying.
I feel like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to not have my kids feel like when they try drugs or whatever, like they're a Amish and on Rumspringa or one of those kind of things. You want them to feel like, okay, this is a thing, but I don't have to be like the life of the party, or I don't have to, go too far.
Yeah, hopefully. And that's my whole goal right now, is to give them whatever tools that I have at my disposal and teach them how to use them. Because it's one thing to have the tools. It's a whole other thing to know how to use them. It's like having a father who's a great carpenter and has a whole garage full of neatly organized tools, and he never shows you how to use them. That would suck.
Yeah, and so many
That would be
kids
a
have
shame.
that too. Yeah, I remember this kid, a friend of mine, telling me the story about his dad, and he said they would watch MASH together, and then he's an older guy, and then he said his dad, whenever he had a question, would get mad at him, and I'm like, that is so horrifying. Literally, I can't wait till my daughter has questions. Can you imagine being like that? And of course, he was suffering, I'm sure, for insane anxiety. That a question from his lovely child alarmed him. But he said at one point he just wanted to know so bad in this scene in MASH what the nets were used for.
Yeah, why?
And he's just been sitting there waiting, afraid, probably almost peeing himself, and then finally he's like, "Daddy, what do they use those nets for? It's like, God, for God's sake.
Always with the questions. Always with the fucking questions.
Well, how many questions did he ask also? Because kids ask a lot of fucking stupid questions also.
That's true.
But
No,
another
but I
thing.
think he was terrified, of his dad.
Another thing that I learned in therapy was to live in a more manageable range of emotions. Like I remember sitting there, and my therapist, I remember when it clicked, and he's like, you live like this. And you don't want to live like this because that's flatlining and then you're dead. Obviously, you don't want to live a waking dead, but you got to live like this. And I was like, oh, so a girl texting me back shouldn't feel like watching my child graduate from college. And a girl not texting me back shouldn't feel like me burying that same child. And he's like,
Yeah.
yes. I was like, I think I get it. He's like, good. Like, you fucking idiot. How is this not apparent to you? I was like 28 at that time.
Were you?
Yeah. 27,
Was
28.
that when you went to therapy? Did you start therapy? Like, when did you start, like, that kind of examination of things?
Well, I got sober when I was 22. So I started really looking at who I was and how I was acting at that time. But I started therapy when I was 26. And then I was, doing that for 3 years, and I went to California. That was like my own personal mitzvah. I did that for myself.
You went on like a spiritual voyage to LA. That would be amazing if he went to go find himself, but instead of going to Tibet, you North Hollywood. And then I finally
Grauman's
realized
Chinese
I needed
theater.
to meet myself in a spiritual sense. So.
Yeah, it wasn't a spiritual journey per se, but it was like me just living.
You went to Universal Studios to get
Yeah, for a week, and on the Harry
became
on
a
the
wizard.
on the Harry Potter ride. I had an emotional. No, it was just like me removing myself from all of the comforts of where I grew up and knowing every road, every dead end, every deli, every pizza place. Like,
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because so you were attached to your hometown.
oh yeah,
Okay, so my husband, like when he used to get mad or whatever, he was like getting really bad moods about the neighborhood changing. And I was like, I mean, who could give a fuck? What's funnier to me than
What do you
getting
mean,
mad about
black people moving in?
whether Jimmy's tire shop wasn't still there. You know, he'd be like,
Jimmy's used to
"No,
be
it wasn't
here."
about race. It was about like the old businesses. It wasn't like racist. It was like, yeah, that was what Jimmy's tire shop was. You know, look what it is now. I'm like, fucking nothing.
It's fucking
Well,
Tony's tire shop.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, it was probably like a shitty business to begin with. I just didn't relate and I felt bad, but I don't understand like that, like nostalgia towards
Right.
small business. But I think it might be very New York too. I don't know. But like, because when I go to back to my hometown, I just remember like weird rejections or a guy that told me that I looked fat in that corner or something,
Where was the hometown?
Bethesda, Maryland. Yeah.
So Maryland, and you left Maryland when?
When I was like 17, but
Okay,
I
that's
left
for the
as soon
band.
as I could. Yeah, everybody else went to like graduate school and all that, but I just got out. But I feel like, I guess like my therapist was saying that it's like soothing to certain people to just those things that are, I didn't have that, like, and I couldn't understand, feeling like really sad because.
Some people,
Yeah, the
some
same.
people have it through certain things. I have a lot of nostalgic attachment to a lot of different things.
But how about to like neighborhood and to things around you that you grew up in, like?
Like if I drive through I remember driving through my grandmother's neighborhood once and tearing up because I remember going there as a kid. Songs, movies, certain things, but I do that on purpose. Like if I find a song that I like, I will listen to it a million times on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I want that song to remind me of the time that I discovered it.
Aw.
You know?
Can we play some soft piano music?
He's very sentimental.
Jared will do
No,
it.
that is kind of sweet though.
Yeah, I'm not scary. I promise you.
I'm starting to believe that. Like
Look at his face.
these anecdotes and how you talk to your children are helping me realize you're not going to make a suit out of my skin.
I might, but it'll be for sentimental reasons.
It would have to be a vest. He's a big guy.
It'll be to wear it
It would have to be a vest. He's a big guy.
Right.
Yeah, it'll
I
be to
think
wear
your
it
skin
so I
would
can-
not make a jacket.
so I can remember when we met. You know? I
I'd
wouldn't
have to feed you more.
want to hurt you. So
I'm going to suddenly I'm going to somehow internalize that into a compliment. How dark is that? I'm like, oh, he said I had room for more food. Like I'll somehow work
I'd-
that into
I'd
it.
only
It's
be a
definitely
vest.
not a
Oh.
compliment.
okay, wait. So there are two topics that we have to talk about.
Okay.
These are big.
All right.
We're gonna move slightly further. We're gonna move slightly further south because we have to talk about this.
Can you relight my cigar? A lot of people at home are already looking up to me as like
Would you-
kinda the head cigar broad. So
That's what I'm talking about. That's the confidence. That's the energy.
Rach, that's big guy
Yeah,
right there.
All right, big guy. You got to tell quick that story, or I don't know if you.
He won't let me.
Oh God, big guy is the greatest. You know that.
Patreon. Now that you've built it up so much, for fucking crying out loud, now it's got to be on the Patreon.
We're both in trouble now.
That's when he gets really.
We're
dark.
gonna lose our screen time any second.
That's when he really
All right,
goes
cut
off
these
the
two
rails.
cameras off, please. All right, now stop pulling away. Also, because every time I light it, it's not a cigarette.
It's a blowtorch. if her fight or flight mechanism doesn't kick in, she's just brain dead.
I just remembered
Yeah.
that I was literally vacuumed on this podcast.
The vacuuming of
Give
your
it a
of
few.
your crotch
Wait,
was
hold on, Rachel.
chef's kiss.
You're
Tell me, I need to know.
you're too shaky. Just stay still, and let me light it.
You can't tell
then-
someone you're too
I'll-
shaky. That's like saying calm down.
Now she's doing perfect. She's perfect.
All right.
Puff it a couple of times. You're good to go. That was perfect.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Looking great.
Am I all learning how to do this?
Yes.
You're learning great.
Okay.
That was it. You just need a little instruction. That's it. But now you got to puff it every like
Yeah,
30
you have to
every
coax the smoke out. You have to coax it and
every
keep
30
doing it.
seconds. You're going to get through this thing.
And then I say something kind of threatening, like, "You obviously don't know who my father is."
Yeah.
Holy shit, that scared me a little bit.
That was a little
Howie
scary.
Feinstein, get off my dick.
She's
How we find.
I moved up here with a
Howie
band.
Feinstein?
I moved up here with a band called Dick Tease in fucking 1997. So
Twat
take
waffle.
it
Get 'em.
easy. By the way, she's smoking a Drew Estates Sweet Jane, which my friend Dave swears by.
Sweet Jane.
Sweet Jane is the name of the cigar.
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
That's
It's CBD
one of my
infused.
favorite songs. It's called Sweet Baby James. Sweet Jane.
Sweet
I like
Baby
it.
James. So Kanye West, moving slightly further south from Canada, north adjacent.
Chicago.
This fucking guy announced his album Donda 2 is going to be on something called the Stem Player. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I bought one.
No.
I did.
You.
Stem player.
I bought one. You want to introduce it, and I'll tell you what it is. You
So he comes out with this announcement and says his album is only going to be available on this thing called the Stem Player. So the Stem Player is what looks like one of those mini vibrators that your partner has control over through an app on their iPhone, and then you put it in your underwear and they.
A little too specific.
I'll show you a picture of it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So it's
the egg.
the egg. Yeah, you put it.
Oh,
in,
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
It
exactly.
doesn't look like the fucking egg.
It does, bro.
It looks like a mini Amazon like Echo Dot, like the little hockey puck size Echo Dot.
So
That's what it
the,
looks
so
like.
the
Yes.
album's gonna come on that. Maybe you have to buy the album also. I don't know. But he's all pumped up because he sold $2.2 million worth, which I did the math on. It's only 11,000 units.
Yeah, it's $200 item.
It's a $200
Yeah.
item. So he's all pumped up about that. He wants to take his control back. He doesn't. Apple is not going to carry his album. Spotify is not going to carry his album. Amazon Music's not going to carry his album. It's only going to be available on this. However, I did learn something interesting. Zach O'Malley Greenberg, who wrote the book Empire State of Mind. Shout out to Zach O'Malley Greenberg. Wrote Empire State of Mind, one of my favorite books about Jay-Z's life. Love Jay-Z.
Big Jay-Z fan.
Huge
I like
Jay-Z
Jay-Z a lot too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I guess we know what the whole Patreon's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm really into hip hop. Yeah, go ahead.
So I got his Substack email today. The Stem Player, Adam, is actually going to be a way. So one of the ways that artists lose out on a lot of revenue from their music is that people want to license a part of a song. So they want to license a riff or a drum
Right.
or whatever. So the Stem Player is actually going to be a way for people to take out pieces and parts of the song that he produced.
And that's what a stem is.
Yes.
So basically, a stem is like, when you have a multi-track recording and there's one part is vocals, one part is drums, one part is guitar.
Yeah.
Each one of those parts is called a stem. So what they do is,
However, Rachel, just to
Yeah.
intercept, Kanye West drums and Kanye West samples, it's not a drum. It's a conglomeration of 800 different drums together to make that one drum sound.
yeah, there's
That's how
synth.
they-
It's like synthesized through
Yeah.
all this kind. He's very technical with how he puts.
Oh,
his
yeah.
shit. It's almost like how 9 Inch Nails or something, but but
The drum sound is not a drum sound.
Yeah.
It's
Great reference.
it's a conglomeration of many different drum sounds to make that one drum sound.
Yes.
So you could never make it on your own.
But the cool thing about the player, and I bought it because I just have to know about it. Like I have to I'll bring it on the show.
Bottom of like the latest technology.
Yeah, I just have to.
Kind of
I'm big into that. So what it does is there are 4 buttons on it, and each button lights up as it's playing, almost like a little Simon. Remember that fucking thing?
Yes.
Each one lights up. So you're watching it. If you scroll one down, you turn down that stem. And while you're listening to the album, you could turn down everything and just leave the vocals. And then play it back. And then you press the middle button and you could make a loop. So if a drum you like, you press it and you remix it essentially in real time. And you could do that not only with his album. You could hook it up to your computer, find your
With
favorite
any other song?
and any other song you could feed into it. Pick a Bon Jovi song, whatever the fuck, put a song on it and mess around with it. So I thought that was cool, that it's like kind of a remix tool.
Yeah.
So we'll experiment with it. We have you on again. We'll play around with it. But it didn't come yet. I wanted it to come in time for the show.
Well, the
but
album's
I
not
ordered it. It's supposed to come out today.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It does seem very satisfying to do that, and then you can just make your own. Also, because you could take different elements of you could mix John Prine or something, with Too Short.
Yeah, perfect. Wow, Too Short.
Who's John Prine?
John Prine is
John Bryan?
John Prine, Prine. He's kind of, his music, people compared him with Johnny Cash. They were friends. He was an amazing musician. He sang this very beautiful, he died of COVID, but he sang this really beautiful duet. I love those old duets where they're kind of playfully kind of insulting each other. I think that's because how comics communicate anyway. That, the way that Johnny Cash, they kind of roll their eyes, but it's a little flirtatious. I find it so fascinating. So he did a duet with this woman, Iris Dement, another extraordinary artist called In Spite of Ourselves. But he played just very, he was incredible, John Prine. Yeah, and my dad's a blues musician, so he wasn't a blues, he didn't play blues, but he had that kind of, that Johnny Cash bluesy kind of feel to his music. Yeah.
Wow, still waters run deep. I didn't know how he had that in him.
Oh, Howie plays piano, zydeco, accordion, all by ear. He's incredible. Now that's what he does full time.
Hiding that part.
Music. Yeah, he goes by Hurricane Howie.
So you didn't come from some straight-laced, boring childhood. Nobody named Hurricane Howie who plays blues riffs.
Wait, so Howie Feinstein is actually Hurricane Howie?
Hurricane Howie, and they were in a band when we were in high school called the Vomitones. Because my dad thought that was the funniest name. Now I think it's hilarious, but as a kid, I'm just can I just have a normal father that smells reasonable, pick me up from high school, and not a fucking, my dad, Howie Feinstein, with a Vomitones Hands Across Uranus tour T-shirt. Which, by the way, their tour,
God. So he's fucking hilarious, this guy.
And the Vomitones tour, by the way, was just 2 gigs in 2 dive bars in Michigan that the Vomitones played. My dad referred to it as a tour. Yeah.
Did he have the regular,
I would have called it a tour too, if I was there.
Fuck yeah.
2 gigs out of the state that I lived in.
That was very thrilling.
I had to drive.
But he is incredible, all by ear. Piano, zydeco, could do all those old New Orleans tricks on the piano, plays harmonica, everything.
Yeah.
So did you get that bug, entertainment back then?
My mom's always that's why she could do the voices or whatever, but I don't know.
Because your dad was in the Vomitones.
Because my dad could hear, play by ear. She's oh, she does the same thing with voices or whatever.
Would you go with him and see these gigs and and mess around and get on the mic and stuff, or not really?
Yeah, I would go. I opened for him once. Not open. It was in West Virginia, and I got lost on the way over there, driving over there, and then I ended up having to go on after the band, which you never want to do. Music always beats comedy.
Right.
Nobody ever wants to hear comedy after music, so I was fucked. So the Vomitones did their big performance, and by the way, one of them played Blue Moon, and then everybody mooned this bar in West Virginia. Okay,
wow.
So then my dad didn't usually moon, at least, but one time I asked him why he didn't moon. He said his ass got too sweaty on the piano and he didn't want to make the trip over to moon with the other guys. But they just mooned. And then so I had to go on after the band. And I had just started to try to do stand-up. And my dad was like, oh, if you want to open for the Vomitones, because I didn't have a lot of gigs at that time. So I drive there, get lost, go on after my dad's band. The band in this packed West Virginia bar is all there. And then so I go on, start doing stand-up. They were furious because they wanted the band back.
Oh,
Some
they
of
want
them
an
were
encore.
so dumb and so drunk that they didn't even understand that I wasn't a musician. So this guy's like, "Free bird, bitch!" Like I'm like, he didn't know I couldn't make that happen. He's like, "God damn it, I said free bird, you bitch," or whatever. And so, wildly bombed. They were furious. They were just yelling out songs that they
Oh,
wanted
poor
to
thing.
hear.
And what'd you do? How do you
He's like,
handle it?
"Buff it! I told you, buff it, bitch." And I'm like, "I can't make that happen for you, sir."
Yeah.
I just bombed, got off stage. I didn't really do anything. I just took my bomb.
Now, when you
And
bomb,
then-
you don't forget your act when you bomb?
At that time, when I first started,
Yeah.
when
This
you-
is one of
when
your first times? Is that,
yeah, it was like, or like I'd been doing it like under a year. I was like bartending and like nannying and things, but like I wasn't doing it full time, obviously.
Because the short period of time that I did stand up, I did it for a year when I was 23, and then I did it for like a year and some months a couple of years ago. If I bomb, my brain goes blank. I can't remember anything I'm supposed to say, and I just get off the stage. I just freeze up. My brain locks up.
Yeah, I mean that's what I didn't exactly that I couldn't forget. So you just run, you just scamper off in the middle of your set.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do that exactly if I would forget stuff, but I would have a meltdown of some sort for sure. But like,
Oh, yeah.
you get used to it as you do it more, so you can have a bad set still, but you're not going to like have an internal meltdown.
Maybe it was the first
So
time that
remain composed and just sort of understand what's happening, or do different things to win them back.
Maybe the first time I bombed, I forgot everything, and then I remember bombing at the brokerage, and I think I did get through the set, but I kept having to look at my notes. I had notes on stage, and I just kept going. I kept like coughing and clearing my throat.
what I admire about
Jeez,
around
that
stand up and you, and I mean, you have this command. And like, again, just for me, I wasn't even doing research for this, for the podcast, but I saw you. You're just like,
You were doing
owned
research.
it.
You didn't even know
I
it.
didn't even know it, but you own it. I mean, you're up there. You're just fucking cool. Does it really feel cool like that? Or is it like a lot going on in your head?
it depends on the night, and thank you, but it depends on the night. Like, I mean, and that's the thing with stand up is it always brings you back to you have to be humble because you just any moment could be just wildly humiliating. So, I mean, the night I did my first half hour special, and then the next morning I had to play in a college in the middle of like bumfuck. And I got off stage, did my whole special, and it was very exciting for me because I had never, I had my name behind me, and it was like a big night in my life.
big.
So then but I didn't have time to go to I went straight to the airport. I think I like did some Jaeger shots with my friends and like just came with like a smear of Jaeger on my forehead and like got to the airport just in time for my flight. And then I go to this college, bombed, pretty wildly. I mean, because the thing is, I asked this guy about his bracelet. He was wearing some sort of like gentle beach jewelry, and I made some sort of joke about his bracelet,
Oh, boy.
and I was like something about does your medallion have a story behind it, like that makes you feel safe or something?
Tell me
And
about
it turned
your
out it was his
tattoos.
brothers who freshly died, and everyone in the room knew. So I've also felt horrible.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, completely bomb at this school, accidentally insult this poor guy that just like lost his beloved twin brother, and then end up missing my flight back. And the college students, he was drunk, slept in, missed my flight to the airport, and then I was there. I didn't have enough of my bank account at the time that I could just put it on a card. Like I was at the level.
So this
where
just
I was, like-
collapsed. Like you
Yeah.
you were on a high. You did your
Yes.
special, and then it just became like planes,
And I
trains,
realized
and
I was like,
automobiles.
I'm gonna have to sleep in Oklahoma tonight because like, and then I called my brother to see if he would like wire me some money, but I don't think I got in touch with him in time. I ended up just like laying in the airport. I still had like half my special makeup on. I was still because I went straight to that college barely. Yeah, it was just like processing the bomb of the night before. But that stand up, like any moment of your life, you can get to a point like I'll have a great set and I'm killing, and I'm like, am I like kind of onto something? And then the
That's
next
life.
day, again, some guy throws a soft taco at your tit, and you're like, nope, you're just a dummy like everyone else.
That's life. Good and
Yeah.
bad. You got to take it as it comes.
Yeah, it's just like it's a weird. I mean, it's like a manic career, but you get used to those nights, and you just care less when somebody throws a taco at you.
Yeah, you gotta listen. We have to. We gotta wrap up this episode, but we're gonna have you for the Patreon.
Okay, thanks.
And we thank you so much for coming here. And what did you call it? A whisper of a fucking cigar smoke?
I
that
said
whatever
I
you
could
did.
smoke maybe a Jew's whisper of a cigar,
A Jew's whisper of a cigar.
Jews whisper. That's the new cigar line.
Yeah,
which is a form of measurement,
a form of
an actual medical form of measurement.
a Jew's whisper. Yeah, she's trying to bite it like she's Humphrey Bogart.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
see?
I learned maybe something.
You learned a little something. You learned to keep yourself still when you get
I
lit.
learned the way you hold it, which is kind of cool. I want to do that hold. Like you kind of hold it like that. Like
Yeah.
I don't do that. I go like this.
I do that sometimes. I do
However
both.
you want.
However you want. However you feel comfortable or totally uncomfortable. But yeah, listen. Thank you for watching on YouTube or listening on Apple, Spotify, Twitcher, Stitcher, whatever.
Twitcher, yeah.
Twitcher.
Twitch space.
I sound like a grandpa.
Yeah. Thank you for listening on Nintendo.
Rate, review, subscribe, listen. If you made it this far, God bless you. Really.
Yeah, we love you.
We love you guys. Rachel,
I'm
thank
in love
you.
And
with
see
you.
Rachel
Yeah.
Feinstein. She is unbelievable. If she's at a club by you, see when's the next
Rachel-Feinstein.com. When does this air?
Well, find her on Instagram also.
Yes,
at
I'm
Rachel
touring, so I'll
Feinstein.
be in Vegas, Chicago this weekend. I think in Vegas the next weekend.
Yeah, don't worry about weekends. We're not. Who knows when this is going to go up? Yeah, just find her on Instagram and follow her and love her the best you can. Okay, because that's what we
need
do
it.
here.
It's not hard to.
And I'm not
she's good.
scary, for the record. I just want to throw that out there as well. I'm a loving, kind, intentioned person, at least. My face and physical stature, maybe I need to lose a couple of pounds so I can be less scary. I don't know.
Your narcissism is kicking in again.
Because I'm talking about myself? Hey, man, if I was skinnier, I'd be less scary? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you fat shaming me? You muscle shaming me? You hair shaming me? There's a lot of shaming going on, and I don't like it.
Shame.
Again, talking about myself.
Pain.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Jump into the Patreon, patreon.com/memedaddies.
Yo, peace.
Bye.